The Erasure Protocol Commander Alexis. Rivera stood in the command center of the orbital station, Unity Prime, and watched the alien fleet materialize in Earth's orbit. There were hundreds of ships, maybe thousands. They appeared without warning, their hulls shimmering with energy fields that bent light itself. Each vessel was massive, easily 10 times larger than anything humanity had ever built. The largest one hung directly above North America, like a dark moon that did not belong. Alexis had been commander of Earth's orbital defense network for 7 years. She had trained for first contact scenarios. She had prepared for hostile encounters. But nothing in her training covered this. The sheer number of ships made resistance pointless. Humanity's entire military could not scratch even one of those vessels. The communication came 30 minutes after their arrival. Every screen on Earth, every device, every display suddenly showed the same image. A being stood before them, tall and elegant, with skin that shifted between colors like oil on water. Its eyes were too large, too knowing. When it spoke, the words came in perfect English, perfect Mandarin, perfect Arabic, perfect every language simultaneously. We are the Dominion Collective. We represent 127 civilizations across this region of space. We have evaluated your species according to protocols established over 3 million years. Humanity has been classified as a Category 5 threat. You possess aggressive expansion tendencies, nuclear capability achieved before social maturity, and historical patterns of intraspecies conflict. The Dominion cannot permit such species to spread beyond their home system. Alexis felt ice form in her stomach. This was not first contact. This was an execution notice. The being continued speaking with no emotion in its voice. You have 72 hours to present evidence that humanity deserves continued existence. A council will review your case. If the verdict is erasure, your species will be removed efficiently and without suffering. This is mercy. This is order. This is necessary for galactic peace. The screens went dark. Across Earth, panic erupted. World leaders tried to maintain calm, but failed. Cities descended into chaos. Some people rioted. Others prayed. Many simply waited for death, knowing there was nothing they could do against technology this advanced. But Alexis did not wait. She had a secret that even most world leaders did not know about. 20 years ago, the Earth Defense Coalition had started Project Silent Exodus. It was designed for exactly this scenario, the arrival of a hostile superior force with humanity facing extinction. The project had seemed paranoid then, a waste of resources. Now it was humanity's only hope. Alexis contacted Admiral Thomas Okafor, head of the EDC's Black Operations Division. He was already at the hidden facility beneath the Sahara Desert when her call came through. His face on the screen looked grim but determined. "We activate Silent Exodus," Alexis said without preamble. "We have 72 hours. Thomas nodded slowly. "That means leaving 8 billion behind." Alexis closed her eyes. She knew. The numbers were brutal. Project Silent Exodus had secretly built 300 deep space colony vessels over 2 decades. They were hidden in asteroid fields, buried under lunar craters, concealed in the outer solar system. Each ship could carry 50,000 people in suspended animation. That meant 15 million could escape. Maybe 20 million if they packed people beyond safe limits. Earth's population was 8.2 billion. We save who we can. Alexis said, her voice hollow. We save humanity's future. The next 72 hours became a nightmare of impossible choices. They could not announce the evacuation. Mass panic would destroy everything. Riots would prevent launches. People would storm the hidden facilities. The ships would never escape. So they selected people in secret. Scientists, engineers, doctors, teachers, artists, children, genetic diversity pools. They used algorithms and lotteries and desperate calculations. They chose 20 million people who would never know they were chosen until the moment of evacuation. Alexis coordinated everything from Unity Prime. Around her, officers worked without sleep. They tracked the alien fleet. They monitored Earth's governments presenting their case to the Dominion Council. They prepared the exodus in absolute secrecy. She watched her staff age years and hours. She felt herself breaking inside, but could not afford to break. Not yet. On the second day, Earth's leaders presented humanity's case to the Dominion Council. They showed art and music and literature. They showed scientific achievements and acts of compassion. They showed humanity's potential for peace and growth. The presentation lasted 12 hours. The council deliberated for 30 minutes. The verdict came back. Erasure approved. 124 civilizations voted for humanity's removal. 3 abstained. None voted against. The Dominion representative appeared on every screen again. Humanity's evaluation is complete. You show potential, but also danger. The Dominion has witnessed 47 Category 5 species over 3 million years. 43 became galactic threats. 4 destroyed themselves. We cannot risk a 44th threat. Your erasure will begin in 24 hours. You will not suffer. This is Mercy. Alexis authorized the final phase. Across the solar system, hidden facilities activated. Medical teams began sedating selected individuals. People went to sleep thinking they would wake up tomorrow. Instead, they were loaded into suspension pods and carried to hidden ships. Families were separated. Friends were torn apart. Most would never know what happened to their loved ones. The hardest part was the silence. No goodbyes. No explanations. People simply vanished from their lives. A mother kissed her children goodnight and was gone by morning. A teacher finished his lesson and never returned. A doctor left for work and disappeared. The 20 million vanished like ghosts, while 8 billion remained unaware that some had escaped. Alexis worked without stopping. She coordinated 300 ship launches across a dozen locations. She managed logistics that would have seemed impossible a week ago. She watched the countdown and prayed they would have enough time. Her own family was on Earth. Her brother, her parents, her nieces and nephews. She could have saved them. She had the authority. But if she saved her family, how could she ask others not to save theirs? So they stayed behind, and she did not even say goodbye. With 6 hours remaining, the last ship launched from a hidden facility in Antarctica. The SS Wanderer carried 65,000 people. Over capacity, but they had no choice. Alexis watched it slip into the outer system and join the others. 300 ships. 20 million sleeping souls. The last humans who would see tomorrow. Admiral Okafor appeared on her screen one final time. All ships accounted for. We are ready for the full jump. What about you, Commander? Alexis looked around Unity Prime. Her staff was still working, still monitoring, still hoping. They knew they were staying behind. They had all known from the beginning. Someone had to coordinate from here. Someone had to make sure the ships escaped. That someone was them. I stay, Alexis said quietly. We all stay. Get them out, Thomas. Get them far away. Somewhere the Dominion will never find them. Thomas's face showed pain, but he nodded. We will name a ship after you. The Rivera. Humanity will remember. Do not name ships after us, Alexis replied. Remember what was taken instead. Remember the 8 billion who die today. Make sure they are never forgotten. That is how you honor us. She closed the channel. Around her, the crew worked in silence. They all knew. In 3 hours, the Dominion fleet would begin the erasure. Earth would burn. The colonies on Mars and Europa would be destroyed. Every human in the solar system would die, except those hidden ships. Now racing toward the edge of known space, Alexis opened a final communication channel to the fleet. This was her last command, her last order to her species. Asterisk to all ships of the silent Exodus. You carry humanity's future. The Dominion has declared us too dangerous to exist. They fear what we might become. So prove them right, survive, grow, evolve, become everything they feared. And one day, however long it takes, come back. Show the Dominion what happens when you try to erase humanity. We who remain behind do so willingly. We buy you time with our lives. Make it count. Make them regret this day. Make them remember that humanity does not forgive, and humanity does not forget. She ended the transmission. The fleet began their full jump into the unknown. Space twisted around the 300 ships. They vanished from sensors, from reality itself, jumping into the void between galaxies where no one would find them. They were gone. Humanity's last hope disappearing into darkness. 3 hours later, the Dominion erasure began. Alexis watched from Unity Prime as the first beams struck Earth's surface. Entire cities vanished in microseconds. The oceans began to boil. The atmosphere caught fire. She watched her world die with dry eyes because she had no tears left. Her crew stood with her. They held hands. They faced death together. The beam struck Unity Prime last. In her final moment, Alexis thought about those 20 million sleeping humans racing into the void. She hoped they would survive. She hoped they would grow strong. She hoped they would return one day and show the Dominion that erasing humanity was the worst mistake they ever made. Asterisk. Then the light took her, and Commander Alexis Rivera became one with 8 billion others who died that day. The Dominion finished its work in 6 hours. Earth was lifeless. Mars was destroyed. Europa's ice turned to vapor. Every human installation in the solar system was erased. The Dominion fleet departed, satisfied they had maintained galactic peace. They believed humanity was extinct. They were wrong. In the darkness between galaxies, 300 ships drifted through absolute void. Inside those ships, 20 million humans slept in suspension, dreaming of home while their home turned to ash. They did not know they were the last. They did not know they were humanity's vengeance waiting to be born. The long exile had begun. 450,000 years of darkness stretched ahead. But humanity was patient. Humanity could wait. And when they returned, the galaxy would learn that some species refused to die quietly. The return of Ghost's time became meaningless in the void between galaxies. The 300 ships of the silent Exodus drifted in absolute darkness, so far from any star that the Milky Way itself appeared as nothing more than a faint smudge of light in the distance. Inside those ships, 20 million humans slept in suspension pods, their bodies frozen in time while centuries passed like moments. The first generation never woke. They had chosen to sleep forever, leaving the future to their children. But they had programmed the ships to wake small groups every 100 years. Someone needed to maintain the systems. Someone needed to guide humanity's path. Someone needed to remember. Captain David Joe woke for the first time in year 10,000. He had been a shuttle pilot when Earth died. Now he was designated as a revival coordinator. His job was to wake, assess the fleet's status, make necessary decisions, then return to sleep. He would live for 200,000 years this way, waking for a decade and sleeping for a century in an endless cycle. The first thing David did was check the fleet status. All 300 ships had survived. The suspension systems worked perfectly. 20 million humans still slept peacefully. But the ships were aging. Systems needed upgrades. Resources needed management. The fleet could not simply drift forever. David and his small crew of 1,000 other awakened humans spent their decade well. They connected the ships together, creating a mobile city in space. They built recycling systems that could turn waste into resources. They established protocols for long-term survival. When their decade ended, they returned to sleep knowing they had bought humanity more time. This pattern continued for millennia. Every 100 years, new crews woke. They improved systems, solved problems, and returned to sleep. Slowly, humanity adapted to life in the void. The ships became more than vessels. They became home. By year 50,000, something remarkable happened. Children began to be born. The revival coordinators decided that humanity needed new generations, not just survivors from Earth. They woke young couples and allowed them to have children before returning to suspension. These children grew up in the void, knowing Earth only through stories and recordings. They were the first true children of exile. Technology advanced in ways old Earth could never have imagined. With nothing but time and survival driving them, humanity focused completely on science. They developed fusion reactors that could run for thousands of years. They created artificial gravity systems. They perfected genetic engineering to help humans adapt to space. They built quantum computers that could process information faster than any machine Earth had known. But the greatest breakthrough came in year 150,000. A scientist named Dr. Elena Volkov, descendant of one of the original evacuees, discovered how to manipulate dark energy. This was the force that made up most of the universe, but remained invisible and intangible. Elena found a way to harness it. With dark energy, they could create weapons that bent reality itself. They could build shields that nothing could penetrate. They could develop engines that moved faster than anything in the galaxy. Admiral Marcus Okafor Rivera woke in year 200,000. He carried the bloodlines of both Thomas Okafor and Alexis Rivera, the two leaders who had saved humanity. He was tall and strong, his genetics modified to thrive in space. His eyes could see in complete darkness. His mind could connect directly to computer systems. He was human, but enhanced, evolved. Marcus looked at the data from the last 200,000 years. Humanity had survived. More than survived. They had grown. The fleet now numbered 3,000 ships. The population had reached 100 million. They had built weapons and technology the Dominion could not imagine. They were ready. But ready for what? That was the question that haunted Marcus. Should they return to the galaxy? Should they seek revenge against the Dominion? Or should they remain hidden in the void, safe from those who wanted them dead? Marcus called a council. He woke the brightest minds, the strongest leaders, the wisest elders. They debated for years. Some wanted revenge. Others wanted justice. Some wanted to stay hidden. Others were tired of hiding. The arguments went in circles until finally, a young woman named Kira Chun spoke up. Kira was a combat engineer, barely 25 years old, but she had been born in the void. She knew no other life. She stood before the council and spoke words that changed everything. We are hiding because we fear that Dominion will finish what they started. But we are not the same humans who fled Earth. We are stronger. We are smarter. We are more dangerous than they ever imagined. The Dominion was right to fear humanity's potential. They just made one terrible mistake. They gave us 200,000 years to achieve that potential. The council fell silent. She was right. Humanity had transformed in exile. They were no longer victims. They were survivors who had evolved in darkness. The Dominion had created exactly what they feared. Marcus made the decision. We send scouts first. We learn what changed in the galaxy. We gather intelligence. Then we decide our next move. But we do not hide anymore. Humanity steps back into the light. It took another 250,000 years to prepare properly. They built stealth ships that could slip through space undetected. They created reconnaissance drones, smaller than a human hand, but packed with sensors. They developed translation programs for languages they had never heard. They mapped the galaxy from afar, identifying Dominion territories, member species, military installations in year 450,000. The first scout ship entered the Milky Way. Commander Kira Chun, now 250,000 years old, but appearing 30 due to suspended animation, commanded the mission. Her ship, the Silent Shadow, moved through space like a ghost. Sensors could not detect it. Radar could not track it. It was invisible. What Kira found shocked her. The galaxy had changed, but not for the better. The Dominion Collective had grown. It now controlled 67% of galactic space. It had 183 member civilizations. And it was still erasing species. Kira's intelligence officer brought her the data. Commander, we have identified 31 species that were erased since humanity. The Dominion calls it the Purification Protocol. Any species they deem too dangerous dies. Just like us. Kira's hands tightened on her command chair. 31 species. The Dominion had committed genocide 31 more times. They had refined the process, made it efficient, made it routine. Every few thousand years, a new spacefaring species emerged. The Dominion evaluated them. If they seemed aggressive or unpredictable, they were purified, erased. Forgotten. Take us to Earth, Kira ordered quietly. The Silent Shadow approached the Sol system carefully. Kira had read about Earth in history files. She had seen videos and images, but nothing prepared her for what she found. Earth was still dead. The oceans were toxic. The atmosphere was poison. Nothing lived there. But the Dominion had built something on the surface. Massive structures covered the continents, monuments, museums, memorial halls. Kira read the translated inscriptions and felt rage burn in her chest. The Dominion had turned Earth into a tourist attraction. They called it the Memorial of Necessary Action. They brought their children there to teach them why dangerous species must be purified. Earth was a lesson, a warning, a monument to the Dominion's power. Send everything back to the fleet, Kira ordered, her voice cold. Admiral Okafor Rivera needs to see this. Marcus received Kira's report and called an emergency council. Every ship in the fleet connected via quantum link. 100 million humans participated in the decision. Marcus showed them what Kira had found. He showed them Earth's corpse turned into a museum. He showed them the 31 other species erased. He showed them the Dominion's continued arrogance. Then he asked the question that would define humanity's future. Do we return for revenge or justice? The debate lasted for months, but slowly a consensus formed. This was not about revenge. This was about prevention. The Dominion would continue erasing species forever unless someone stopped them. Humanity had the power to stop them. Humanity had the responsibility to stop them. Marcus gave the order that would change the galaxy forever. We return, not as victims, not as refugees. We return as humanity's justice. The Dominion wanted to erase us because we were dangerous. Let us show them how right they were. The fleet began moving toward the Milky Way. Not all 3,000 ships. Most stayed behind in the void, safe and protected. But 500 ships made the journey. That was enough. More than enough. These were not the colony ships that fled Earth. These were warships built over 450,000 years. They carried weapons that could shatter planets. They had shields that could withstand starfire. They moved through space like darkness, given form. The journey took 3 years. The fleet moved carefully, using stealth technology to remain invisible. They jumped through folded space, covering light years in heartbeats. They were ghosts returning to haunt the living. Kira commanded the vanguard. Her tactical fleet consisted of 50 ships, all equipped with dark energy weapons. They approached Dominion space from the galactic south, a region the Dominion considered secure. No threats came from that direction. Nothing lived in the void beyond. The first strike came without warning. A Dominion patrol fleet of 30 ships was conducting routine exercises near a mining colony. They never saw the attack coming. Dark energy beams struck from nowhere. The Dominion ships simply ceased to exist, not exploded or destroyed, but erased from reality itself. 30 ships and 10,000 Dominion. Personnel vanished in seconds. The Dominion military went on high alert. They searched for the attackers, but found nothing. Their sensors detected no ships. Their intelligence found no clues. The attack seemed impossible. Ships did not simply vanish. Fleets did not disappear without explanation. Kira struck again 3 days later, this time at a Dominion Council station. The station housed 500 council members from various species. It was supposed to be the most secure location in Dominion space. Kira's fleet appeared from nowhere, destroyed the station's defenses in minutes, then broadcasted a message across all Dominion channels. The message showed Kira's face. She was human, obviously human, and very much alive. I am Commander Kira Chun of the Human Remnant Fleet. 450,000 years ago, the Dominion Collective erased humanity because we were too dangerous. They were wrong. They did not erase us. They created us. We survived in the void. We evolved. We became exactly what you feared. Now we have returned, not for revenge, for justice. The Dominion has erased 32 species. That ends now. Surrender your weapons. Disband your council. Free the species you oppress, or face extinction yourselves. You have one choice. Choose wisely. The message ended. Kira's fleet vanished back into stealth before the Dominion military could respond. Across the galaxy, panic erupted. Humanity was alive. Humanity had returned. And humanity was more dangerous than anyone imagined. Admiral Marcus received Kira's report and smiled grimly. The war had begun. Not a war of conquest, but a war of liberation. The Dominion had 450,000 years to rule the galaxy in peace. That peace was built on genocide. Now humanity would tear it down. In the void between galaxies, the rest of the human fleet waited. They listened to reports from the vanguard. They heard about the Dominion's fear. They felt satisfaction, knowing that those who tried to erase them now trembled at humanity's return. The ghosts had come home, and the galaxy would never be the same. Asterisk.